Cheong Soo Pieng left Singapore for a sojourn in Europe that lasted from 1962 to 63. He explored several European cities including London, Paris, Brussels, Venice and Rome, immersing in the cultural landscapes and interacting with the European artistic circles. He also held successful shows in London and Munich. Apart from seeing many works of great European masters, he observed firsthand some of the contemporary art movements blossoming around Europe in the 60s. This pushed him to keep abreast of the latest developments in the international art world. Between 1965 and 75, Soo Pieng created a sizable body of mixed media works. Though not as well understood by the public, these mixed media works form an important aspect of his practice. In the 1960s, after his European sojourn, Soo Pieng researched and experimented extensively on some of the ideas that shaped contemporary art movements in Europe. His sources of inspiration included the Bauhaus movement and the St. Ives School, in particular the work of British artist Ben Nicholson. He also took to industrial materials and everyday found objects to create metal relief and assemblage works. The incorporation of everyday objects and non-art materials in painting and sculpture was first used by artists like Picasso in the early 20th century. Such ideas evolved into major art trends in the later part of the century. This is an abstract composition of a Kelong scene. Interestingly, it comprises different views of the Kelong. It looks like an oil painting at first glance, but upon closer inspection, you will notice a pasted-on wire mesh that resembles fishing nets. Such details enhance the tactile quality of the painting. Soo Pieng's dynamic output also includes a group of assemblage works. They range from abstract to figurative and often feature the use of industrial and everyday found objects. Apart from Western influences, some scholars have suggested that Soo Pieng was trying to create a form of relief painting. Relief paintings occupy a long history in Southeast Asia and had also influenced a few other first-generation Singapore artists, particularly Ye Zhiwei. In this example, Soo Pieng adopted scrap metals like copper sheets, rivets, and nails, and a few other materials to construct a figurative image of idyllic Malay kampong. For such works, the viewers experience changes according to the directions of light, which affect shadow and contrast on the work itself. To compose with hard materials like metal sheets and strips, and to affix so many tiny objects like nails and rivets to the composition would have been a difficult and time-consuming process. This style exhibits a cloisonné look-alike enabling technique, though little is known of how Soo Pieng executed it. The presentation is rich in detail, with some parts of the enamel reflecting a marbled distressed pattern. The gold-colored paints, metal fragments and copper wires interact with greens and reds to evoke a sense of luxurious splendor. The work reminds us of Mughal jewelry style. Another exceptional figurative work in the metal relief style is this red and gold composition. It shimmers brilliantly under lights and exudes a breathtaking resplendence. This combination of red and gold is a popular color scheme among Soo Pieng's works. Some of his most significant pieces were executed in this color scheme. To generate the bold, defined outlines for the objects, Soo Pieng had painstakingly arranged and pasted the strings onto the support. Since the string material would have been soft and flimsy, to place this string accurately to achieve beautiful forms must have been tricky and required a great deal of precision. This is a semi-abstract work of a landscape composed primarily from metal sheets. The top part seems to depict an archipelago of islands, perhaps inspired by the topographical characteristic of Southeast Asia. The middle and lower parts of the composition resemble rolling mountains and great rivers. Soo Pieng skillfully put together this assemblage by leveraging the unique characteristics of his chosen material. This abstract composition, comprising flattened and rolled-up metal sheets, draws reference, perhaps, to the spirit of the industrial age. It thrives on non-objective components, with industrial materials meeting each other in angular shapes and hard edges. The idea behind such forms can be traced back to the Bauhaus movement. This may well be one of the most extraordinary mixed media works in Soo Pieng's career. It depicts the aerial view of an atoll island. The ocean comprises transparent plastic sheets and resins, which were rather new contemporary industrial materials at that time. The clear plastic sheet, with its thickness, creates an illusion of seawater depth, while everyday objects like strings are strategically scattered across to represent the landmass of the atoll. The fact that the work can be viewed from both sides makes it even more special. Soo Pieng was always a trailblazing figure that led the early Singapore art scene. His revolutionary foray into the realm of mixed media had also inspired many second-generation artists, such as Chu Shui Fook, Chong Fa Chong, and Vincent Hoisington, to work with non-conventional mediums and materials. In the 1960s, while his local contemporaries were still more concerned with early 20th century art forms, Soo Pieng cast his sight further by examining contemporary Western art movements and integrating these new ideas into his practice. Soo Pieng was also amongst the first Chinese artists to have ventured into assemblage art, hence marking his place as a very special Chinese artist of the 20th century.